afternoon. I hope you guys had a fabulous weekend, and I hope you guys are excited to learn a new recipe this morning. Because we're still on Passover, we're going to be making one of my favorite Passover breakfasts, and it's called matzah brai. If you guys have ever had French toast, it's kind of similar, it's a little different, but I'm also going to show you how to use the same ingredients and just replace your matzah with bread and make French toast if that's what the ingredients you have on hand are. So we'll start by washing our hands and then we'll get going. So after you've washed your hands, you're going to get started by breaking your matzah into pieces. So I usually recommend about a board a person. If you're making for one person, one board, two people, two boards, three people, three boards, and so on. I'm cooking for two this morning, so I am going to use two boards. I'm going to take them out of the box. This bag had a weird one. It opened on the side instead of the top. And what we're going to do is we're just going to break them into little pieces. They can be any size you want, really. I usually do about this size. So if you don't have matzah or you're not keeping Passover and you'd rather use bread, this is the only part that's really different. If you're using bread, any type you like, I typically recommend maybe a slice or two per person, and you're gonna follow the next steps that we'll talk about. So if you're using bread, you're gonna skip this step. But if you're using matzah, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna add hot water and let the matzah soak in it a little bit so it softens when we cook it. I have an instant hot button, so I used boiling hot water, but you can also just use hot sink water or warm up some water in the microwave, whatever's easiest for you. So I'm just gonna pour it over and let it sit for just a minute. You're gonna toss it a little bit, just make sure it's soaking up some of that water. And once it reaches a good consistency, you're gonna go ahead and drain it, okay? And you can keep it in the strainer for right now while we use this same bowl to make our egg mixture. So if you're using and you're making bread, and you're gonna make French toast, now's when you can jump in. So for 2 boards of matzah, or 2 servings of French toast, I'm gonna use 2 eggs. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crack them into this bowl. I like to use a fork to help me sometimes. Make sure there's no shells. And I got egg on my hand, so I'm gonna go wash them before I whisk. So then you're gonna whisk your eggs. And you can do a combination of different things for your next step. Some people like it to be savory and they add salt and pepper. Some people like it really sweet and they add cinnamon and sugar. I like a combination of both, so I typically add a little bit of salt and a little bit of cinnamon. I'm gonna add that right into my eggs. So this is your time to be creative and to follow your own taste preferences. Just a little shake of salt and a little shake of cinnamon. You can eyeball it, and we're just gonna whisk that up. So some people like to add milk to this mixture. I don't have any milk on hand right now, so I'm gonna skip that part, but just know it's optional if you do wanna do that. If you're making French toast, you're gonna put your bread in this bowl, flip it around a little bit, and then grill it up. Since we're making matzah brai, I'm gonna add my matzah to this bowl. I'm gonna mix it all up, and then I'm gonna cook it as one dish. So we're just gonna mix it all up, let all that egg get into the matzah, and we're gonna put it in a pan. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do is melt your butter into the pan. I use probably about 1/4 tablespoon, maybe a little less. Just really you wanna coat the bottom, makes it all nice and crispy. You're gonna do the same thing whether you're doing matzo brie or French toast. And once your butter is nice and melted, like it is here, you're gonna go ahead and either add your bread to the pan or dump your matzo brie right in. If you're doing bread, make sure you pick up and place them. If you're doing matzo brie, you can just dump it in. That nice sizzle. And just spread it out so that each piece will cook evenly. If you're doing French toast, this is probably a good time to flip it when it starts getting a little brown on the underside. If you're making matzo brie, you're just gonna kind of do the way you would do scrambled eggs and just keep flipping and mixing until all of it is cooked through. Either way, whether French toast or matzo brie, you wanna make sure you have no runny egg left. And when it's about done, you're gonna go ahead and get your plates out and turn off your heat and serve it up. I don't know why, but when my mom makes it, it always seems so much prettier. However, I'm sure it tastes just as good. So like I said before, different people like different flavors. If you like salt, you can sprinkle a little salt and pepper on top right now. I like to add a little syrup to mine. So I have this agave syrup, and I'm just gonna drizzle it on top. So no matter which recipe you followed today, I hope you enjoy your lunch or your breakfast tomorrow, and I can't wait to hear all about it. Bye guys.